Welcome to our college briefing show, where we sprinkle a bit of everything into your news cocktail. Graduation cap newspaper. First up, we've got a tale of musical chairs, or should I say, musical bands, at the NCAA Tournament. Yale's band couldn't make it, so who jumped in? The Idaho Vandals. Sierra Schultz, a proud Idaho Vandal, temporarily turned into a Yale Bulldog, trumpet and all, to fill in. Talk about a crossover episode we didn't see coming. Then, we're diving into Georgia, where a new bill is stirring the pot. It's all about local law enforcement and immigration checks. The bill, which is now on the governor's desk, could see local officials facing misdemeanor charges if they don't play ball with federal immigration officials. It sparked quite the debate, especially after a tragic incident at the University of Georgia. On the flip side, some folks worry this could make people hesitant to report crimes. It's a real pickle. And here's a plot twist from down under. Australia is stepping up its game in the rare earth sector, trying to flex its muscles despite China's stronghold on the market. It's not all smooth sailing, though, as experts question Australia's ability to compete with the cost-effective producers in Asia and Africa. Plus, with prices dropping, it's a bit of a roller coaster for the land of kangaroos and koalas in the rare earths drama. So, keep your popcorn ready and your curiosity piqued as we dive deeper into these stories. Please stay tuned for the detailed content. Popcorn eyes. Yale's band missed the NCAA tournament. Idaho Vandals stepped in. Washington Post. Sierra Schultz is an Idaho Vandal through and through. But over the weekend, the University of Idaho sophomore, who plays trumpet in the school's marching band, became a Yale University Bulldog, at least for a few hours. Georgia bill aimed at requiring law enforcement to heed immigration requests heads to governor. Associated Press. Georgia's legislature has approved a bill that would require local jailers to check the immigration status of inmates and collaborate with federal immigration officials. The bill, which was backed by Republicans, could result in local law enforcement agencies losing state funding for failing to work with immigration officials and local officials facing misdemeanor charges. The bill gained traction after a Venezuelan man was accused of beating a nursing student to death on the University of Georgia campus. Democrats have expressed concerns that the bill would discourage reporting of crime and cooperation with law enforcement. Australia doubles down on rare earths despite Chinese dominance. Nikkei Asia. Australia's attempts to boost its role in the rare earth sector face numerous challenges despite loosening of China's grip on the market, according to the Nikkei. Analysts and experts have questioned Australia's ability to compete with lower-cost producers in Asia and Africa and suggested oversupply of battery metals nickel, lithium and cobalt have already hurt existing projects and impact development plans. Prices of rare earth elements have also dropped recently, which has hit the world's only rare earth supplier, Australia's Linus. China currently accounts for about 60% of the global mine supply of rare earths, a figure that is expected to fall to 50% by 2035. Alabama holds off top-seeded North Carolina 89-87 to reach Elite Eight for second time ever. Associated Press. Alabama defeated top-seeded North Carolina 89-87 to advance to the Elite Eight of the NCAA Tournament for the second time in school history. Grant Nelson scored a season-high 24 points, including a go-ahead three-point play in the final minute, and blocked a shot to secure the win for Alabama. The Crimson Tide will face sixth-seeded Clemson in the next round. Building a new Key Bridge could take years and cost at least $400 million, experts say. Associated Press. Rebuilding Baltimore's collapsed Francis Scott Key Bridge could take anywhere from 18 months to several years, experts say, while the cost could be at least $400 million, or more than twice that. It all depends on factors that are still mostly unknown. They range from the design of the new bridge to how swiftly government officials can navigate the bureaucracy of approving permits and awarding contracts. Network political contributors have a long history. But are they more trouble than they're worth? Associated Press. NBC News has come under fire for hiring and then firing Ronna McDaniel, the former Republican National Committee chief, who was brought on board to give an insider's perspective on the Republican campaign. However, network personalities like Chuck Todd and Rachel Maddow objected to working with McDaniel, who had been involved in election disinformation, and bosses quickly changed course. The move has highlighted the role of political contributors in television news and the difficulties of representing the GOP point of view in the Donald Trump era. Networks such as NBC say they strive for political balance, but finding a contributor with a MAGA pedigree has proved difficult. Former Trump officials are often accused of being insufficiently loyal, and many Republicans feel outnumbered on television. NBC Universal Chairman Cesar Conde has defended the principle behind McDaniel's hiring, stating that the network remains committed to seeking diverse viewpoints. However, some Republicans view the move as confirming their belief that NBC is biased against them. Canada, educators sue social sites for disrupting learning. Deutsche Welle. For school boards in Canada have filed separate lawsuits against TikTok, Meta, and Snapchat, seeking at least $4 billion Canadian dollars, $3 billion, from the companies. The boards claim that the social media platforms disrupt student learning and are urging the companies to redesign their apps to make them less addictive. The lawsuits argue that platforms like Facebook and Instagram are designed for compulsive use and have had a detrimental impact on children's mental health, attention span, and learning. Several U.S. states are also suing Meta platforms for contributing to a youth mental health crisis. This Brisbane magpie can make the sound of a blaring siren, but that's not unusual. ABC. Magpies are one of the best songbirds at mimicking sounds, even better than lyrebirds. They can mimic human baby cries, the sound of horses neighing, dogs barking, and the laughing kookaburra, among others. Magpies learn and reproduce sounds that they hear regularly, and use mimicry for strategic purposes, such as protection. While they are territorial birds, magpies sing extensively for fun, rather than to attract a mate. However, they mostly sing after the demanding time of parenting is past. Harvard applications dip, but don't plunge, following historic turmoil. CNN. Applications to Harvard University for the class of 2028 have fallen to a 4-year low, with the university receiving 54,008 applicants, a 5% decrease from the previous year. The figures are the first look at Ivy League school admissions since the Supreme Court ruled against affirmative action. However, the data does not include demographic breakdowns. The school accepted 1,937 students for the class of 2028, resulting in an admissions rate of 3.58%, up from 3.41% the previous year. Despite recent controversies, demand to attend Harvard appears to remain strong. NMSU hires community college head as interim president. Yahoo! New Mexico State University's Board of Regents has appointed Monica Torres, chancellor of Dona Ana Community College, as the university's interim president. Torres will start on May 1, and the board also provided an update on the search for the next president, which is set to begin in April, with a permanent president expected to be in place by January 2025. Pittsburgh Public Safety Council discusses safety with Tree of Life Congregation president. Yahoo! Alan Hausman, president of the Tree of Life Congregation in Pittsburgh, spoke at a Public Safety Council meeting to discuss lessons learned from the 2018 synagogue shooting. Hausman emphasized the importance of training and detailed the security measures implemented since the incident, including armed security guards and restricted access. He also encouraged organizations to request free security assessments from the City of Pittsburgh Office of Emergency Management and Homeland Security. Friday's time schedule. Associated Press. The article provides a schedule of various sporting events taking place on Friday, March 29. The events include NBA, MLB, NHL, NWSL, and men's and women's college basketball games. The article lists the teams and times for each event. Harvard removes human skin binding from book after more than 90 years. ABC. Harvard University has removed human skin from a book that had been held in one of its libraries for over 90 years. The book, Des Destinies de l'âme, or Destinies of the Soul, was discovered in 2014 to be bound in the skin of a deceased woman. Harvard has acknowledged past failures in its stewardship of the book and is consulting with French authorities to determine a respectful disposition of the human remains. The practice of binding books in human skin, known as anthropodermic bibliophagy, was once relatively common. In 2022, Harvard released a report identifying over 20,000 human remains in its various collections. Rocky Huln, sorting out the madness of March. Yahoo! The writer nostalgically remembers some of his favorite moments from the NCAA men's basketball tournament and notes how the tournament has lost some of its luster due to changes in the college sports landscape. The writer mentions the impact of nil money and how players transferring in the middle of their college careers has become common. They also express frustration with the increased use of the challenge system by referees and the negative messages received by players from gamblers. Nonetheless, the writer still loves March Madness and hopes that some of these issues will be addressed in the future. Americans studying in China are safe despite U.S. travel advisory, scholars say. South China Morning Post. American students in China are not at significant risk, and the U.S. State Department should provide a more specific travel advisory to clarify high-risk groups, scholars have said. The State Department's current advisory for mainland China suggests visitors reconsider travel due to arbitrary enforcement of local laws and the risk of wrongful detentions. The Chinese embassy in Washington and U.S. and Chinese scholars have urged the State Department to remove the Level 3 designation. Calls to ease the travel warning come as both sides emphasize the importance of people-to-people exchanges. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.